Welcome to Obi-Wan Studios. Today's LEGO Star Wars review is on the 75058 MTT, or Multi-Troop Transport, of course this set being based on Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This MTT released August of 2014 for $90 and retired at the end of 2015. Today, sealed in box, you're looking at spending around $360 on average according to Brick Economy. That's 4 times the set's original value in just under 10 years from its initial release. The 75058 MTT has 954 pieces and 3 minifigures with 9 droids. That's of course depending on whether or not you consider droids minifigs or not. We have Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, a Naboo security guard, 1 pilot battle droid, 7 regular battle droids, and a PK-4 droid. I just love sets with the Battle of Naboo Episode 1 box art. They always just look so good to me. One thing that's kind of awkward with this box art though that I wanted to point out is that both Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan on the front hold their lightsabers in their left hands. Of course, they're both right-handed. It's just a small kind of dumb detail in the box, but it does look a little weird to me just looking right at it. On the back of the box, you get shots of all the play features with this MTT build, and there are a lot of them. There are so many that the entire back of the box is pretty much purely dedicated to the set's features. Alright, now it's time to unseal this set. If you enjoyed this review, please remember to give the video a like, and even better, subscribing to my YouTube channel. Both of those things just let me know you guys enjoy my reviews and also helps my channel grow. Inside the box, we have a large plastic bag that contains the instructions manuals and sticker sheet that's protected all by some cardboard. I really do appreciate this extra level of protection, and as you guys will have seen if you've watched some of my other reviews, it's not uncommon for the manuals and sticker sheets to be rather damaged straight out of the box when they are left unprotected. Opening up that bag, we have our 2 instructions manuals and a relatively small sticker sheet. There are also 7 total numbered bags, with there being 2 number 3 bags. Getting into the minifigures first, our first minifig is Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is a pretty decent Episode 1 version of Obi-Wan. I do like the addition to the print on his body with waist and leg printing. Even though the print on the waist and legs is very simple, it does make him look just that much more detailed. And it really doesn't take a lot sometimes to really elevate a minifig, and this is a prime example. I will say, however, that the print lines on his legs are clearly just not as sharp and crisp as you would expect for leg printing, so that is unfortunate. Under Kenobi's cape is a rather nice looking back print. The silver detail on his belt looks particularly good. He does feature a second face print as well, very much representing his anger during the final sequence of the duel with Darth Maul. Both face prints I think look pretty good. However, Obi-Wan's hair is not long enough at the back to cover the second face print completely. You can see his mouth and chin dimple clearly when looking at him from the back. So if you were building a mock of Naboo, for example, you certainly would want to pose Obi-Wan in a way where you can't see this at all, and it's something you just should not have to worry about. Overall, this is a good example of an Episode 1 Padawan version of Obi-Wan, but the exposed second face print and sloppy leg print kind of hold him back from being perfect. Next up is Qui-Gon Jinn, and straight away with this minifig there is one very obvious issue. The robe print on his legs, because LEGO is somehow incapable of figuring out how to print light colors on dark prints, is gray, not tan. It's not the same beige color as the rest of his robes, and just the consistency of it from the body print, the waist print to the leg print, is just completely broken. And to me, this is very noticeable. I wish I could say this was an issue a decade ago, but it still is one to this day. Here's looking at you, Commander Fox. You'd think an $11 billion company could have figured this out, but hey, maybe when they are worth $15 billion, they'll have enough money to solve this issue. It's a similar issue with the skin tone prints on both Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan too. I just wanted to touch on this kind of color printing and matching issue all at once here. Frustratingly too is how the robes are of course perfect on the box art and the actual representation of the minifig on the box, but it's not in real life, so it's a little bit of a misrepresentation of the actual product LEGO is providing, to say the least. The rest of the print on Qui-Gon, to be fair, is pretty good. He does feature a different back print to Obi-Wan's, which looks great. He has a second face print as well, which actually took me a moment to really notice the difference. He has a raised eyebrow and a slightly different smirk, a very Qui-Gon Jinn-esque face, which I really like. It's just subtly different. Overall, this Qui-Gon had potential, but to me, he is quite the miss in terms of the quality. Next is the Naboo security guard, and he just looks really good. His hat is fantastic. You have the dual shades of brown on it, plus the gold striping on the front. It's just really very, very well done. Due to the hat not covering a lot of the back of his head, he does not feature a second face print like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, but hey, that is totally understandable. The combination of brown for the torso and yellow for the arms and legs is very striking. He has a minifigure your eyes are just drawn to just due to that color contrast. The print on his body, legs, and waist looks very good and is accurate to the source material. Honestly, take this minifig, add dual molded legs for the boots, arm printing for the shoulder pauldrons and gauntlets, and this would be a killer 10 out of 10 Naboo security guard that would be just awesome to release in any upcoming Phantom Menace set today. Now we move on to our battle droids. We have one battle droid pilot as shown here with the blue torso. The tan print on the torso is also not quite right with just that lighter print on the darker part colored issue. Luckily, it's not as noticeable on the battle droid pilot as it is on Qui-Gon's legs. We also have a total of 7 regular battle droids, so this set is a decent droid army builder, and as it is an MTT, it should be. I know a lot of people were very disappointed with the number of battle droids in the set, and therefore they think this is a bad MTT. While I do get the argument for more, it doesn't make this set bad in my personal opinion. 6 of the battle droids do fit into the main troop compartment of the MTT, while 1 is meant to pilot the staff build. Our last droid is PK4. Now this is a droid that you might have zero idea as to what he is or why he is even in this set. During the Battle of Naboo, when all the Gungans are captured, you see multiple PK4s cleaning up the destroyed battle droids on the field. They also are responsible for the maintenance of the Trade Federation's army of B-1 and destroyer droids. With such a minor appearance in the movie that you could easily be forgiven to have missed them at all, I'm just surprised LEGO made one for this set over a Gungan warrior, although you did get some in other Phantom Menace sets released around this time. Overall, PK4 is fine. The design is a little bit wonky compared to what they actually look like in universe, and it could have used maybe some sort of print on the head for the main sensor. That just would have been nice to add in some sort of detail to a relatively white build, especially if they were going to put in the effort to make such a minor droid in the first place. Looking at the minifigs and droids overall, I would say there just isn't that much going on for this set in that department, and that does really make me sad to say. Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and the Naboo Guard are just weird additions just in the context of the Battle of Naboo for this set. To me, it feels like LEGO put them in the set to just help ensure one of the more expensive Phantom Menace sets from the 2014-2015 wave had more appeal, so it would just sell better. Sadly though, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan actually bring the set down in terms of quality, I think, and the set would have been just better off by adding in maybe a second staff build, a battle droid commander, and maybe just more regular battle droids just to make it a crazy good separatist army builder, instead of some minifigs that just really miss the mark a bit on certain details in terms of their quality. You guys know I hate being negative in reviews, but I'll always be honest and give my true opinion. Getting into the builds, I want to cover the staff build first before getting into the MTT. It's simple, but staffs do not have to be complex. It's truly a great little staff build. When it comes to the color scheme of it, there is a bit too much black in it for my liking, just in terms of the accuracy to the staffs that we see in the Phantom Menace, as they are just essentially all brown in color, but it is a very sleek looking staff build that makes for a good addition to the set in just terms of being a droid army builder. And speaking of droids, as already mentioned, one of the 7 regular battle droids is given 2 straight arms to pilot the staff, and it looks very good attached to the build. Moving to the MTT build finally, and man, this is my first ever LEGO MTT, and it's so exciting to finally add one to my collection. The MTT is easily on the more complex side when it comes to the shape of it and the overall caricature, at least in universe, and at the scale I think it looks really good overall. It's also a little bit bigger than I expected it to be in this set. I know this MTT of course got flack for being a little smaller and not being able to hold as many droids as the 7662 MTT, but this thing isn't exactly what I would call a small build either. At the front of the MTT, we have the main hatch that houses the battle droids. On this build, the mechanism to deploy the battle droids is on the right side. You simply twist this Technic gear, and the main hatch and bottom panel are actually pushed open by the entire troop deployment system moving out and forward. It's a really great feature that is just integrated so nicely. The fact that you don't have to open the hatch or anything for the droids to be able to come out is really cool and just makes it overall a little bit more seamless in the actual design. You will want to lift the top hatch up a little bit more though, just for ease of access. As already mentioned, the MTT can carry a total of 6 battle droids in the main compartment, and it's not a lot, and I definitely see the argument for this MTT being a little bit bigger to maybe even fit 12 of them curled up inside. The droids do have to be hunched forward in this fashion in order to fit in the actual mechanism, but it's really easy to load them in because the whole plate they're attached to slides right out, so you don't have to try and fit them in just attached to the rest of the entire kind of troop deployment mechanism. The clear piece at the front helps give the illusion that the droids are attached to the top of the arms as well, which I like. The front of the troop deployment rack is shaped very accurately to the in-universe version of the MTT also. Overall, I really do like the way the main function of the MTT was done for this version of it. It's very seamlessly integrated, it works very, very well. It could hold more battle droids, but overall, for the scale of this MTT, I think it was done very, very well. Closing up the main forward hatch, you can see at the front the 2 large twin blaster cannons. They are on these larger rotating ball pieces so you can aim the cannons around, which is just accurate to the MTT. The large armor pieces for the laser power units as well look fairly good. There is some slightly awkward gapping here though at the front just by the way everything was designed. Just behind the forward main laser cannons is a section with a lot of brick-built greaveling detail on it. On the MTT in Universe, this area is tucked more underneath the whole hull of the vehicle, so it's all just a bit more flush. And while it does add in some nice shaping and detail, and I generally just do like it, it is just not accurate to the design of the MTT. Overall, this area in general does have a bit more exposed Technic than I personally would like. On an updated MTT build, I'd for sure expect the designers to hide it a bit better with just more paneling, and just make it look a bit more full in this area just without the exposed Technic pieces. Moving up, we have panels on either side that pull down to reveal the spring-loaded shooters. I really appreciate the play features being added in, but even more so, I really do appreciate that they hid them so well into the build. You could close these sections up and honestly just forget that they are there. And for those of you who, like me, display your sets, having glaringly obvious play features hidden into the design is just a huge positive for the build, so big marks for this, because I just hate having massive spring-loaded shooters just very obviously put onto a set or a build where they just really don't belong. The panel right above the spring-loaded shooter hatch pulls out and up to reveal the control room interior. This piece can slide out as well for easy placement of the battle droid pilot. You will have an easier time getting this piece out if you do lower the spring-loaded shooter hatch just a little bit. It has a green stud and red control on it for some details, and then there is a sticker inside which to me looks like it's a screen showing the forward view out of the MTT. At the back there is a gray dish as well which represents the escape hatch for the control room. Just behind these hatches is a sticker which just represents some detail that's on the MTT Universe. It's just another nice detail that is added in. There are 2 more stickers at the top just below the escape hatch. These were a bit annoying as they need to be placed as close as possible to make it look like one seamless piece. I just wish these were printed in this case or one large piece with one large sticker. I did my best and I think it does look pretty good on my MTT, but this is always going to be a pain when LEGO designs stickers in this way that need to be lined up and essentially seamlessly placed beside each other in order for it to look remotely good. There are 2 more stickers at the very bottom of the MTT to represent some of the repulsor cooling exhaust vents also. Those look good and add in just a little bit more detail to the build too. The shaping of the back section of the MTT doesn't look too bad to me. There is again some larger gaps at the front where the section gets wider and larger gaps where the last 2 side hatches are. Both are details I would just expect to be more refined in a future MTT build. These hatches at the back do open up to feature even more interior space on the transport. The left side opens up for the weapon storage for the droids in the troop rack. This slides right out so you can place the blasters and take them off just a lot easier. On the right side there is a maintenance room for the PK4 droid with clips to store both his wrench and hammer. This section as well slides out to make using it a lot easier. Now, the last play and interior feature on the MTT is not quite as noticeable as the other hatches are. The entire top section of the rear of the transport actually can tilt all the way back to allow you to store the staff and the accompanying battle droid. They really thought of everything with this build, and I definitely not expect so much use of the interior when it came to this specific MTT. You can also see a bit of the droid rack mechanism with the back top hatch open up, but the ability to just store the staff and its battle droid right in the back of the MTT, I just really love, and it just keeps everything together. Turning to the back of the MTT, it features some different pieces to create the shape and just add in some detail to the rear section. Overall, I just think this area looks pretty good. Now, the MTT does appear to float and can move very easily on a flat surface. This is because it has transparent wheels built into the underside of it. The way it's done, you don't notice them at all, but it has the dual purpose to give the illusion that the transport is floating on the repulsors while being able to move very smoothly. This was a great final touch to the build. Overall, it's a bit tough to rate this set. The build, I think, is pretty good, and if you don't have an MTT in your collection, now that it looks like we aren't getting one for 2024, sadly, with the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace, I think this is a fine example of one in LEGO form that would be a good addition to your collection. The minifigs, however, could definitely and should be better. I don't think I'm being too hard on them, especially Qui-Gon. He just really isn't that good. So, is this set worth buying in 2024? For $360 sealed, that is getting pretty steep. I will say if you can find it for less than that, I would still personally buy it, and I did. I found mine for $250 sealed in very, very good condition, and honestly, for a decade-old set like this, I personally feel pretty good about my purchase. So if you can get a decent deal, I do think this set is worth buying, especially if you don't own an MTT in your LEGO Star Wars collection. Thank you for watching my review on the 75058 MTT. If you enjoyed this review, please give the video a thumbs up, and as always, let me know your thoughts on the set in the comments down below. What do you think of the size of the build, its ability to hold only 6 battle droids in the troop deployment rack? Is that a deal breaker for you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already and you made it all the way to the end of this review. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching today's LEGO Star Wars review, and I will see you on the next LEGO Star Wars video.